I'm bigcal and welcome to my world. Today is the first of a three-part video that I'm planning to do on, of course, the Nintendo Wii. The Nintendo Wii sold a ton. If I'm not mistaken, it is the second best-selling console ever, right behind the PlayStation 2. And yet, despite selling so many copies of the console and so many games, I honestly believe that this is an underrated console. Now, you may think that's a little weird. It's sold more than any console ever with the exception of the PS2, but it's underrated. Yeah, the main reason is, while it did sell a ton of consoles, most people don't really think there were that many good games for the system. They just see it as some shovelware system that random families could play together. Old people, young people, kids, whatever. That's all they saw it as. So in my opinion, it's definitely an underrated system because this has some of the best games of its generation on here. Yes, it came out while the PS3 and the Xbox 360 were on the market. You know, those generations. Did this come out first? I think it did. But anyway, it came out, you know, when the PS3 and the Xbox 360 were part of the generation, and despite that, this still, in my opinion, has some of the best games of that generation. So I want to talk a lot about this console, hence putting it into three parts. The main reason, because the last video I did like this was the Xbox. I talked about all the games I had, which I believe is the same amount of games that I currently own for the Wii, 40. And that ended up being extremely long, and while a lot of people liked it and said it was one of my better videos, so thanks for that, there were also some complaints that it was too long, so I've decided to cut this into three parts. Two parts on the actual Wii, going through this pile of games and then this pile of games, or the other way around. But the first part here is I want to talk about the backwards compatibility of the Wii for the Gamecube. And the main reason I want to do this is because I don't own a Gamecube. My brother had a Gamecube back in the day when it came out. I remember him getting it. It was a great console, had a lot of fun with what I got to play on it, and then he traded it for a PS2 with one of my friends, and that was the end of that. So when I got the Wii, I actually pre-ordered this, got it on launch, the first console I've ever done that for, so that's great. I was at university at the time, and thanks to student loans and things, I had the spare cash, plus it was only, what, $179.99 when it came out. Bargain! Pre-ordered it, got it on launch. I remember going to pick it up, just such a fun day. And while the launch for the Wii, in terms of games, there weren't really that many, the fact that it was backwards compatible with the Gamecube was fantastic for me because I didn't get to play a lot of the Gamecube games. And the ones that I did, I wanted to rebuy. So, we'll first look at, you know, the whole backwards compatibility thing. We just lift these up here. This is not the original cover. I believe the back one is. Maybe it's not. No, neither of these are the originals. I don't know what happened to my original dust covers at the top. They both disappeared, so I've had to buy separate ones. And while they do fit on perfect when they're on, as soon as you try and take them off, they do have a habit of falling off. Unfortunate. So yeah, on the top here we have 4 controller ports for the Gamecube and 2 Gamecube memory card ports, which of course allows you to play Gamecube games. So there's the memory card, slots in to there, and of course the Gamecube controller. Here it is in all its glory. This is of course an original Nintendo Gamecube one. Trying to get hold of them now can cost you upwards of £20. I started buying some Gamecube games, and of course the controller just when the Wii was released, so the Gamecube was now last generation and a lot of game shops were selling stuff cheap. So, got a controller. And I love the Gamecube controller. Most people do. It's often considered one of the best, and for good reason. It feels great when you're holding it. The analog stick is one of the, if not the best analog stick a controller's ever had. Shoulder buttons feel great. The Z button Feels good, however, on non-official GameCube controllers. I own two from Game, and both controllers, the Z buttons are broken on them. So it seems that they had a hard time replicating that for some reason. Face buttons, A, B, Y and X feel great. D-pad's not particularly great in my opinion, but most games didn't really use it. You know, just a start button, no select or anything. And the C-stick, mainly used for the camera, sort of what the C buttons were on the N64 controller. It's now an analog stick. I've actually heard people complain about this. I've never once thought the C-stick was in any way bad. So overall, in terms of design and how it feels and controls, the GameCube controller definitely has to be one of the very best controllers of all time. I love it, people love it, and they love it for a reason. So it was great to be able to play GameCube games on the Wii with the original controllers. And then of course we have games. Start off first with these. I have 5 games here in these little game cases, and they are original games. Here's WrestleMania 19. It's decent-ish as a wrestling game. WWE Crush Hour, kind of like Twisted Metal but with wrestlers and their own type of cars. Not particularly fantastic either. WrestleMania 18. It was fun at the time. I remember having it originally when my brother had the GameCube. Was great being able to play that at the time. Legends of Wrestling, which was kind of shitty. And Burnout. Now the reason I have these games in these is that some very nice person on the internet that I used to talk to years ago sent me them for free. To keep postage costs down, he just sent me the discs and the game manuals and covers. So I thought, okay, I'll buy them and then I'll just buy some replacement cases. So I ordered these. Little did I know that they were mini. I thought they were full size, but nope. And I've never actually been able to buy, you know, just empty GameCube cases. So I've just never really bothered. So what I've decided to do now is just buy like a couple of copies of the cheapest sports game, which you can get for about 50p most places. Just buy a few copies of that. You know, throw the games away because who gives a shit about those, and put these into actual cases. So the rest of my GameCube collection, one of the newer ones I got that was in one of my unboxing videos is 1080 Degree Avalanche. Obviously a snowboarding game. It's not too bad, I've played a little bit, it's quite fun, but not one I would have picked up myself. And then of course, most recently, one of my recent video game purchases, Donkey Konga, with the bongos. Yeah, I'm not going to take them out, you've already seen them. Cool bongo controllers, you know, you hit the bongos, it's a rhythm game, but they also did a platformer. We had to slam to attack enemies and things like that. Like I said, I got it incredibly cheap, £2.50 for the bongos. The game was about £2. And it's just fun and unique, and I just kind of wanted to own it just to see what it was like. So again, it was one of those things that I never got to play back in the day. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. Big fan of the Budokai series. I've got 1 and 3 on the PlayStation 2, and then 2 here on the GameCube. Fun fighting game, fun story mode. There's some crazy shit that happens, weird Dragon Ball fusions, like, you know, Cell absorbing Freezer, or Boo absorbing Cell and Freezer, and you just get some weird fusions. Fun game, not the best, but pretty cool. I enjoy it a lot. James Bond 007 Nightfire. Obviously when you think 007 games, everyone goes GoldenEye, the rest are shite. Admittedly, I've not really done much with the story mode on this, but the multiplayer is fun as hell. Definitely, you know, comparable to GoldenEye. Except now you've got better graphics, things look better, control better. I actually prefer the multiplayer on this than I do to GoldenEye. This is one of the games that my brother had back in the day with the GameCube. We would just play the multiplayer a ton and try and blow the shit out of each other. Always good. Nintendo console, the GameCube can't be complete without a Mario Kart, and we have Mario Kart Double Dash. This is probably one of those games where people either love it or hate it. They either like the idea of the two people in the cart, or they just think it's pointless. Honestly, I don't really see it as a game changer for the Mario Kart series. I mean, they never did it again. That has to tell you something. It wasn't really that interesting, but it's still, at its very core, a really great Mario Kart game. Some really cool tracks. Some of them, of course, made it onto the Wii U in HD, which is always great to see. But it's really nice to own the original copy of the game. And at the time when I bought this for the Wii, Mario Kart Wii wasn't out, so it was great to play a Mario Kart game. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. This is one of the games again I picked up just after the Wii was released. Got it cheap, I'd heard good things about it. For some reason I don't own the first one. I don't know why, I could have sworn I did, but I don't. I've never ever been a fan of the 2D Metroid games. Never have. I don't know why. Just don't care for them, but the 3D versions of them are fantastic. And it's so great. Was it Retro Studios that did this? Are now going on making the new 2D Donkey Kong Country games, which are also fantastic. And I think the opportunity to make those games all spawned from the fact that they made these Metroid Prime games and were fantastic. Now, this game goes for a lot of money these days, and it was actually hard to get even at the time when I ordered it, which again was when the Wii first came out. And I bought it because I didn't know much about it. All I knew is that the 2D games on the handheld are fantastic, and this looks like it's a 3D one. Console. It's got to be awesome, right? It's Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. I've never really sat down and given this a chance. I don't know why. I guess, like I said, at the time I bought it, I'd just got the Wii, I had a few games for it, and then I was building up a Gamecube collection, and I just had a ton of stuff that I was trying to get through, and I just never really got around to Pokemon. I bought this brand new at the time, ordered it on Amazon. I think it was only like £20 brand new at the time. Good luck getting it for that price, especially brand new and sealed. The only thing is I had to wait months for it to come. It was like on order somewhere and it just took ages, and then one day it came through the post like, oh yeah, I ordered that. And by then more games had come out for the Wii, I got some more for the Gamecube, and I just never got around to playing it. So one day I would love to give this game a real chance, but it's I don't know, because it's not like a normal Pokemon game. They still haven't really done the Pokemon game from the handheld on a console. I always heard that this was the closest to it, but it's still not the same. That's probably why I never really truly got around to playing it, because it just didn't feel like Pokemon. But maybe one day. Another game now is Rocky. Pretty sure had this again on the Gamecube back when my brother had it. Great boxing game, really fun. Go through, of course, the career of Rocky. Starting off fighting Spider Rico. The very first boxing match that starts the first Rocky film, all the way up to beating the shit out of Tommy Gunn, basically a street brawl. Fun game. One of the main reasons that I picked up Gamecube controller and memory card when I got the Wii was to play Super Mario Sunshine. Love Mario games, obviously, you already know that. Love the 3D versions, and I love Sunshine. Again, some people don't like this one because of FLUDD and the cleaning up part, but as a 3D platformer, a successor to Mario 64, I think this was perfect in what it did. It took everything from Mario 64, you got bigger levels, nicer looking levels, some really difficult challenges are in here as well. It's a fantastic game, and I don't truly understand why people don't like it too much. I genuinely think this is better than Mario 64. Another game that I bought that now goes for a lot of money. Again, I got it really cheap because it was last generation at the time, and a lot of the games that are now expensive weren't expensive back then. Super Smash Bros. Melee. Fantastic game, definitely lived up to the hype that was given to it even back then. So I remember thinking, when I got the Wii, obviously, what GameCube game should I get? Asked online, people give me a list. Melee was always one that people like, buy. So I bought it, and it's fantastic. And yeah, I prefer it to Brawl, which admittedly I've not played too much of on the Wii, but yeah, I prefer it. Not just because Brawl's newer and Melee's older and retro and cool and yeah, it's a really good game. Love it. One of my all-time favourite games for any system. I've owned this game for the PlayStation 2, the Xbox, the PC, and now I believe the only copy I still own is here for the Gamecube. The Simpsons Hit and Run. Fantastic. Probably the best Simpsons game ever made. I do love the Simpsons game as well as a 3D platform. This has got 3D platform elements as well as lots of driving, obviously the hit and run part in it. A really fun story. All round great game. I played this a ton, completed it on every platform I've owned it for, and I just really like the fact that I own it on the Gamecube. It's one of those games where it's like, hit and run, what should I play it on? Gamecube. So that's what I've got it on. And finally, because my Gamecube collection is severely poor. I don't own that many games for it. There are a lot more I want to, but unfortunately the games I want now are all the ones that cost lots of money. So to round off my Gamecube collection are of course some more wrestling games. I mentioned some at the start, but those ones aren't particularly great. They didn't get great on the Gamecube until the Day of Reckoning series. Amazing. The first game here is great, it really is. I love the story mode, all builds up, but where it truly gets into all-time greatest wrestling game ever territory is Day of Reckoning 2. It improves on everything from the first game. The controls are better, the speed's better, there are more modes, more things to do, bigger roster, and the story mode continues from the first game. It continues on. It is probably the only true wrestling game sequel. It has 2 in the game and it carries on from the first game. I'm fairly certain that is the only time ever a wrestling game has ever done that, and I love that idea. Just one of my absolute favourite wrestling games of all time. Incredible. There are features from this game that are now only just making it into the brand new WWE 2K series games, and they're being touted as brand new features. They were in this first. Epic game, and the fact that this came out around the time that there was, Here Comes the Pain on SmackDown 2, and this is the better game for me, really says a lot. Incredible game, love the hell out of it. So that's it for part 1 of this video and the Gamecube section of it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Post in the comments below what Gamecube games you own, what memories you have of the Gamecube, and recommend me some Gamecube games. Some that perhaps are cheaper than the ones that I really want, such as the Paper Mario 1000 Year Old Door, Skies of Arcadia, the re-release of a Dreamcast game. Both are expensive, but I want the Gamecube game more. Luigi's Mansion is one that I want to get that it's not that expensive, it's just around about in the £12 region, which a lot of times I think I could buy one game for £12, or I could get a handful of games for the same amount, and then I tend to buy the handful of games rather than the one game that I know is guaranteed to be great, whereas a couple of the cheaper games might not be as good. And I don't know why I do it, it's just what I do, but one day I'm going to get around to buying that. And of course there are a handful of other games that I really want on the Gamecube, but let me know your recommendations for me. So I'm Big Cal, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon for part 2 where I start looking at the actual Wii portion of the Wii console.